There we go. 12 seconds. We're live. G'day all. Hope this is working today because we've got a new system now and a new camera. Looks good. It does look good. So we'll see how we go. A few things we want to get through today, or tonight, I should say. I don't want to hold you up for too long, but a few things in the news we've got to talk about. The camera seems to be a little bit sort of sideways. I don't know if I go sideways it make a difference or not. But anyhow, all right. I'm just waiting for confirmation from Mr. Wilson that it's all working, and confirmation from any of you people out there would be great too. So let's see what happens. But anyhow, first thing on the book, the agenda, is lockdown. We don't get this right. We're just going to be locked down forever and a day. Hang on, I just checked with Mr. Wilson. All good? No, we're up. So, all right. So where do we start with lockdown? They're saying 95% of us are all doing the right thing. That's probably right. It's probably not right too. I don't know. But if you've got any ideas that you want to go camping somewhere, you're not going to be able to do it, because if you're sneaking off somewhere or just treating this with blasé attempt, I'm sorry, you'll be the only place you'll be camping in the backyard. And that's fine too. There's nothing wrong with that. But at the end of the day, it was not what we want to do. So, but anyhow, so we've got one watching us at the moment. I have no idea who it is because that part doesn't come up, which is a bit of a bugger. But anyhow, so with what, you got to understand what Gladys and the rest of the bandoliers are trying to do. They're trying to work with something they've never ever had to work with in their life before. The closest we've ever worked with this is probably back in the 1920s when we had the Spanish flu. So what they're working with is what they got, and what they got is what they got to work with. So at the end of the day, I know you think you're having all your liberties vandalised, but it could be worse. This thing will kill you, and it's probably proven that it doesn't matter how old you are or how young you are, chances are you may die. So vaccination seems to be the secret. That's what they're telling us. I'm fully vaccinated. Mr. Wilson's ready to go and get hers. Young bloke that stays with us, Jace, he's got his number one. So we've got to just wait a little bit longer. So we're on the way of getting vaccinated. But for those people that think you can stick a fork to your arm or your head, or it's got a chip in it, or the government's going to find out where you are, or Microsoft are going to know where you, wake up to yourself, you dickhead. Like, the needle's that small, you couldn't get a chip to go through it anyhow. And if that's the kind of people that we're dealing with, I think your mother dropped you on your head when you was a baby. So, it's not like that. For God's sake, think about what's going on. I'm going to talk about something in a minute, show you how bad things really are, or try and get you to understand how bad things really are in the rest of the world, because as much as you think it, and all these protesters we had down in Sydney the weekend, you reckon this is pretty hard at the moment? You've got no idea. None at all. You're free to protest, you're free to travel, you just got to pay the consequences. You don't get shot. But I'll talk about that in a minute. But as for lockdown, like I said, the government is playing with what they know or what they've learned over the last 18 months. There's no book comes with COVID. All we can say is, thanks, China. We really needed this like a hole in the head. But anyhow, so what can I do? And all I can do is just tell you to stay at home. Just, if you've got no need to go out, we don't go anywhere because my day job doesn't allow me to do anything but go to work, sleep, and get up and go to work again. And if I didn't have to go to work, I wouldn't. If it was going to be detrimental to health of Mr. Wilson, myself, or the dog, I wouldn't go. But anyhow, the next thing I want to talk to you about is Afghanistan. It's in the news big time. The only thing I can say about Afghanistan is just let us just remember our diggers. They're the ones that went over there with a cause, and that cause was supposed to be paramount, and they were supposed to be able to walk away from there when they'd served their time and put their hands in the air and say, I made a difference. Well, you did make a difference. You stopped women and children from being raped, persecuted for 20 years. It's not your fault that these people that, like as in the Taliban, have come back now. That's not your fault. You've got enough of your own problems with all your problems that you're having with homelessness and not fitting in. For you people that don't sort of understand, and I probably can't even comment on what they're doing. But this is just my opinion. To belong to something that is very important and a way of life, to get up of a morning and regimentally brush your teeth and get showered and get dressed and don on all your gear and then go out and protect a place you don't want to be. And you come back and the only thing you got is your mates. That's all you got, nothing else. You can't talk to anybody at home. You can't ring anybody. You may be able to send them an email every now and again, but you rely on your mates and your fraternity that you belong to, whether it be the Army, the Air Force, or the Navy. You belong to that. That's yours. And, you might be there 9 months, you might be there 6 years, who knows? But at the end of the day, when they all pack you up and they say, thank you very much for your service, the only thing you get to use is your socks and your tie. The rest of it's taken off you, and you march to the gate and said, thank you very much for your service. Don't ever contact us again. So why wouldn't they feel like they've been left out, persecuted? And where do they go next? Because of a morning, the first thing they got up is breakfast was cooked for them. The water in the shower was there. The shower buildings were built for them. Everything was done. The only thing they had to do was go and put their life on the line. So you're talking about how bad things are in Afghanistan, and was that cause worth it? Of course it was worth it. There's a generation of women and kids over there now that haven't been persecuted by the Taliban or somebody else for 20 years. That's a whole generation. So just think of that. That's what they did. They made a difference, and they made a huge difference. I'll give you an example. If they didn't make any difference, Taliban would have walked straight in there and shot every woman, child, man, and everything that didn't conform to their ideas. But they know if they did that, the world would be back in there again, shooting them. So there's a difference they made. They keyed down the Taliban. So you've got to take your hats off to our diggers. You really have. We lost 41 of them, and I believe we lost somebody we know. The nature of what he used to do, we can't find that out. I'll probably end up speaking to one of our federal members here and give him the name and just ask, is this true? So, and all we can do is remember him. Good bloke, really good bloke. Just a shame. So going back to what I was talking to you about, all these protesters, this is how free you was. You was able to drive, you was able to go to Melbourne and Sydney. You was able to protest as much as you wanted to protest. You was able to disregard all the orders of the police, and they had your welfare in hand. You disregarded what your government asked you to do. You disregarded what your mother, your father, your grandfather, the people that are in hospital, in aged care, wanted you to do. You disregarded everything that the Australian people stand for. But guess what? Nobody shot you. In Sydney, if that had been in Afghanistan, you would have been shot, mowed down with machine gun fire. So don't tell me how bad this country is and what your rights are. You've got more rights than anybody else. Police officer was hit on the head. Like, at the end of the day, don't ever tell me how bad your rights are, because you've got the best rights in the world. So that's enough about that. You bunch of dickheads, wake up to yourselves and go and find something else to do. Go and protest about how you don't want to mow your front lawn or something because it doesn't belong to you. Just try and do the right thing. When Gladys walks away from this, the only thing that you bastards will remember is how bad she was, not how good she was. And that goes for Scott Morrison, and that goes for even Anastasia Palaszczuk, who I've got no time for. But at the end of the day, the only thing you'll remember about these politicians is all the bad stuff. You'll never remember the good stuff. But anyhow, planning for camping, lockdown, you can't go anywhere, you can't do anything, you can't do whatever you want to do, you can't, but you can. You can. You've still got your home, you've still got all your gear, you've still got your camper out the front or out the back or in the shed, or unless you're like me and live on the side of a mountain, pretty hard to put it up. But you can put it up in the backyard, go camping in the backyard, and you might think that's a bit silly, I can't go anywhere. Well, it's the only thing that's available to you at the moment. So just have a think about it, This is a good time for you to find out what's in the camper that doesn't work anymore, and who doesn't like wear what. What kid has grown out of a stretcher? How does the shower work? Have a weekend camping, don't go inside. Just say to yourself, well, that's it. We're living out of the camper for this weekend. I want to test the shower. I want to make sure all the beds are okay. You're in lockdown. You can't go anywhere. So what's wrong with that? Camp in the backyard. Get the tent out. All that kind of stuff. Plan what you're going to do for when you come out of lockdown. Because with mental health, the worst thing you can do is just be inundated with your own thoughts about how woe is me. Really, at the end of the day, work out what you want to do. Work out where you want to go camping. Then put your camper up, put your tent up in the backyard, and train. Military services, like when they're going to go and do something, they spend days, months, years, hours training. You can do the same thing. Go to your own backyard, train yourself, train on what you're going to do, where you're going to go, and how you want the kids to do this. Most of the camping trips I've been on, there's been no real thought about it. We just load all the shit up and put the kids and the dog in the car, and off we go. We get out there and we're telling the kids we want them to do something they don't know anything about. And the dog's got to be tied up because he'll run away. And your missus, well, she's busy either on Facebook or trying to understand what you're trying to do. Get it all together, train together, become a unit, so you got better camping ideas when you go out. It's pretty simple. Try them new cooking tips out you want to do. Get the camp oven out. It doesn't matter how many times you cook in it, you can't hurt it. It's not going to break. And you can light a fire in the backyard, or you can do what I do and cook it with heat beads, or you can cook on the barbecue with a camp oven. Not hard, not really hard at all. Sharpen your skills. Don't sit there going, why is it me that's got to be locked down? Just amuse yourself. Mental health, think about it. Mental means brain. Give the brain something else to think about than being locked down, because you're not locked down. You can please yourself what you do. You just can't go out past the front gate. All right. So that's one thing. So there's a couple of things that you can do to prepare yourself for the next camping trip. Whether it be Cape York, whether it be Darwin, whether it be even just out here in the West. One day. It's a bit like that old Candid Camera ad. One day, when you least expect it, we'll be able to go out again. All right. Buying local. I know you can't go up to anywhere and buy local. I know you can't go to Bunnings, and you can't do this and you can't do that, because it's not essential services, or people might think it is. It's probably good mental stimulation. I don't know. But at the end of the day, if you want to go to BCF, get online, buy something, and they'll deliver it to you. That's shopping local, That's keeping your local people employed. So you can go to Supercheap. Like Supercheap's not one of our sponsors. BCF's not one of our sponsors. We don't have any sponsors. We pay for everything ourselves. Even though I do wear their shirt, I wear it with a fair bit of pride because, it's got BCF written on it and XEM, and I can wear it anywhere I want. But at the end of the day, I have no sponsors. They don't give me anything. So really support your local. Just if you can't get online, ring them up. They're there. They're there because they have to be there. Just ring them up and say, listen, if I want to buy a camp oven, how do I go about getting it delivered to my place? It might cost you a couple of bucks, but at least you're supporting local. So you can buy anything you want. You can buy. I'm telling you now, if you wanted to buy a brand new Land Cruiser, a brand new V8 Land Cruiser, and you rung them up and said, could you, if I give you the money, would you be able to deliver a brand new Land Cruiser to my front door? I bet you they'd be there in minutes, taking your money. But anyhow, that's probably a bit far-fetched. But, talk to the people, talk to your local people. Just because we're in lockdown and you want to do something doesn't mean the end of everything. What are we doing? What do we got coming up? Nothing. Probably, maybe we might cook something in the camp oven in the backyard in the next couple of weeks. We barbecue. We can't have anybody over. We can't go anywhere. We can't do anything. So really, not much we can do. What are we planning? We are probably planning Kakadu next year, or we may be even planning a couple of short runs out west out here when we come out of lockdown and everybody else comes out of lockdown, because it's no fun really. We can go camping by ourselves because it doesn't worry us. Me and Mr. Wilson can go and sit anywhere and take photos of each other and think we've had a great time. That's what it's about. But some people just want to go camping with the aunties, the uncles, the grandmothers, and that's fine. And the next door neighbour. Don't leave the next door neighbour out. Some people, believe it or not, these people in Sydney have lived next to their next door neighbour for 20 years and they're like their brother. They really get on with them and they do go well. Not like you people who live next to somebody for 2 years and don't even know their first name. The great Australian way was, if you run out of sugar, you race next door to Mrs. Jones and got a cup of sugar off her until you could go and buy some more sugar. She never expected you to bring it back, but you always took it back. Or Mrs. Jones would come over and see you and ask you, do you have a couple of pegs, because the cockatoos got on the clothesline and ate all the pegs, So, yeah, we sort of lost all that. I don't know if it's multiculturalism or it's just arrogance or I just don't give a shit. If I don't give a shit, then wake up to yourself. We're all in this together, so we've been told 1,000 times. But those ones that's in it with us just seem to be a little bit above us or behind us or in front of us trying to get out of the place so they can go and visit something, and come back and tell us all about it the next day. Oh, I was in lockdown, but I went to Genolan Caves. Really? Good on you, dickhead. If something like that happens, ring Crime Stoppers. That's what they're there for. But anyhow, like I said, nothing. I'm not doing anything, but I'm just trying to give you a bit of an idea what to look for, just a little bit of thinking material, But anyhow, it's nearly time to go. We've been here for 19 minutes, so this is Jimmy from Hairy Campers. If you like what I'm doing, don't forget to hit the like button. And if you want to see this old mug floating around somewhere, subscribe and I'll definitely make sure it gets to you. hairycampers@gmail.com. If you send me an email, I'll answer it within days. If you send me something on comments, I don't read the comments all that much because I do get very busy. All right. Enjoy your lockdown. Make the best of it. Thanks for watching.